These next 6 episodes of Season 8 are pretty great. They aren't all amazing, though. The best thing I can say about non-compete clause is that at least they didn't go for a stupid pun in the title. It's almost like they intended to, but stopped themselves. Like, wait, the ones with clause aren't the ones competing when they shouldn't be. And then that attitude of defeat carried them throughout the whole rest of the production. Seriously, the only way they could think to make these students likable was to play them against the most annoying pairing. When you have Starlight, who hasn't been paired off with most of the main 6 yet. Anyway, the episode was bad. We understand this dynamic.
Here we go again.
And we're fucking sick of it. We want to see these dynamics. And we get little teases of them, but they get overpowered by these two.
Any questions? You don't have questions? No time for them. Get in the boat!
And it's bad. Why do they exist if they're not even allowed to be the focus of their own episode? I really want to believe that the school is anything other than a huge mistake, but they're not giving me anything over here. There's a whole episode about how pointless the school is. This kid tries to do something nice for her new friends, and Twilight comes over here like,
"You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!"
Twilight is telling kids to go out and talk to strangers.
I don't know anything about them.
With candy. And a canonically shady past, and a goddamn sexual predator. Well done, Twilight. Really, princess of friendship over here. Keep it up. So at the end, there's this scene where Cozy Glove says,
"So you do have a place for them here?"
And then they still do this like ominous smash cut. Who are you guys trying to fool? But they get honorary diplomas, and they're happy with that, even though the point was that they wanted to attend the school because it would be fun.
Twilight School is supposed to be amazing and sad.
This is very similar to the problem with the Gabby episode, except without the uplifting message at the end.
And it looks like your destiny is a whole lot like ours. You don't need a symbol on your flank to know that.
Because the message at the end of this episode is really stupid. After an entire episode of Starlight being bored out of her gourd.
Great. Well, I'll just go dust my office for the 70th time.
She's like, yeah, we need even more staff at this school.
We could use some good friendship tutors on staff.
The first 2 acts were just dragging their heels.
I'm going to call you Repeaty Bell.
And the 3rd act undercut what little was set up. The only reason I'm ranking this episode higher than non-compete clause is because there are some frames in here that I know DWK can work with if he decides to recap this episode. Just like how Rarity works with Spike's new wings to make longer dresses. I mean, this episode is cool because we get to see one of the students being cool and helpful and informative to Spike, of all people. She sure learned friendship fast. Wait, what the fuck? It's been 9 months? They brought up Spike and Rarity again, but this time in the context of Spike having a coming-of-age moment. And giving Spike this, yes, he is actually aging moment, where they focus on him and Rarity's weird pseudo-relationship that changed nothing about Rarity's perception of him.
Flying will also be beneficial for you to help me with gowns, frocks, robes, shifts, skirts, minis, manatees.
Kind of seemed like a serious step towards ending this arc, even if it doesn't end in Dragon on Pony action. If they don't, and the holding pattern just continues until the end of time.
I love you, dear. My sweet, sweet Rarity.
The episode was still fun. Speaking of episodes that are still pretty fun, despite some things, the Mean Six begs a few questions, like, why is a changeling making clones? And why are the clones just the discorded main 6? And like, wait, don't the elements not work when you're discorded? And wasn't that the whole point of discording them in the first place? And then, right at the end, the show goes, yo, I got you. And you're like, thanks, episode. So then you get to focus on the real story, which is how well the main 6 know each other. So well, in fact, that they can identify the worst elements of each other.
And then you and I are going to have a serious talk.
That they even keep hidden from magical tree rocks. Cause that's real friendship, you know? When you're so shitty, the Tree of Harmony decides you shouldn't be alive anymore, but your friends are there like...
This was the worst day ever!
And speaking of the worst day ever, the parent map. The segue didn't work. Shit. This one's really telling about Starlight's experience, because after the season 5 finale, she knows that constantly dwelling on the past has dire consequences for the future. And it's cool to see that she got that from somewhere.
Just a father wanting to preserve our town's rich history for his little pumpkin wumpkin.
I mean, she literally made a spell to turn her and Sunburst young again to try to reclaim their lost friendship. So, yeah, you could say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Good luck convincing me my preservation efforts don't make sense.
This cut to her room shows that she held on to that inciting incident that caused her to go all crazy cult leader all the way up through her death metal phase. And it's kind of funny that she tried to be a nonconformist and that didn't help her get over her pain, so she just went ham in the opposite direction. Everything else in this episode was great too, but not for any reason that's special enough to justify making the video any longer. Speaking of things that are special enough to make the video longer, the breakup breakdown is fantastic, and a worthy successor to the first Hearts and Jose episode, unlike the last time Discord was in a spiritual successor to another great episode. But I don't want to think about that, so I'm gonna get back on topic. This is a great companion episode to Horseplay because it continues the trend of godly characters actually teaching valuable lessons through the act of fucking with people. Discord's motivation here is layered in nuance, and Nick Confalone definitely wasn't winging it the whole episode, and I'm certainly not reading too much into it. Because Discord is actually learning that his first instinct isn't always right. He doesn't consider romance, or anything that he doesn't feel himself to be genuine. He understands relationships based on respect and mutual interest.
You know what I see? I see that Discord's far from perfect, but I also see none of you giving him a chance.
And has a much better understanding of what they can survive. Which is why he comprises to break up Big Mac and Sugar Belle. Because if their relation is based on gifts and other nonsense, then it's not real. I mean, he's not spending Hearts and Hooves Day with Fluttershy, because why would he? He doesn't know, or maybe he does know, but just doesn't respect that romantic relationships have a different meta to friendship.
Love is about spying in the bushes.
He's watching Big Mac base too much of his own happiness on his girlfriend, and he doesn't approve of that. And to me, the best part of this episode is how the B story, which is linked by a fan service-driven coincidence, isn't related to the main story at all. And we get a scene where we're explicitly watching Big Mac project onto an unrelated situation.
But that doesn't make any sense!
Maybe he used to talk too much and it only ever got him into trouble.
In the exact same way that Discord tried to make Big Mac project his affections onto a
imaginary one-dimensional paper cutout skeleton.
But then in the end realizes that isn't what's going on here. He just hurt his friends to prove a point that was severely misguided.
What if you're right, Discord? What if love isn't real at all?
And he tries to save face like he was in control the whole time, but he did miss out on a sweet lawn care service. If Season 8 stays this good after the hiatus, it'll be able to give, like, Season 1 or 5 a run for their money. During the hiatus, why not check out one of my main channel videos, or pledge to my Patreon so that you can get into the Discord server and yell at me in person.